But we won't be doing that though, because we went through software.
You will still be doing this part.
Oh, okay.
So it'll launch to this screen,
Okay.
and then you're gonna hit configure recording here on the online recording side. And then the recording
Did you wanna sit here?
type up at the top of this screen is a drop-down menu. So this is basically like your montages. And so you're gonna be using, and we can talk through and we can make some other ones, but for now, what we've created is an Emory PSG and an Emory PAP. And so this will encompass your PSGs, your titrations, and your split night studies. And we'll make one also for MSLT/MWT. And then any other different types of studies that you'll be running, probably like an Inspire, and others that we kept off. So for now, we're gonna go in and use Emory PSG. And so what that does is it shows you all of the devices down here that are in the room and connected. And because this is a PSG recording type, you see how it's grayed out the TX link? Because it's not expecting to connect to that device. If you had a Centec or some sort of ETCO2 device in this room, that would be listed here as well. And it either would be grayed in or it would be included if this was like a pediatric recording type or something along those lines. So for PSG, you don't have to mess with any of these other drop downs. You would just use this drop down up at the top and make sure you're at the right recording type. You would then hit next. And then this information will be pre-populated. It'll pull in the name, the last name, the medical record number, and all of that stuff from software. So you would just want to make sure that that is correct for the patient that you're about to run. And then you can go ahead and hit start recording down at the bottom.
Was there a question?
Yeah, so Jay, you were saying where the devices were.
Yep.
So if in whatever we have for said room would be listed in the drop down and we would just select them if we were using them from the beginning.
Yes.
Or is the montage set up for say CO2 and you would select a CO2 montage and then it would automatically.
Yeah, so we could do it one of two ways. We could make a recording type that's specifically CO2,
Okay.
and then it would automatically check in that device.
Okay.
Or we could have just this like PSG recording type, and then if you're adding the CO2 to that study, you could just click it and add it into that recording type.
What do y'all feel like sounds easier to have a?
We'll get there.
Well, if we pick the montage, it'll be easier to have it automatically populated.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
we can create a specific CO2 recording type.
Right.
Now, would you want, so when there is a titration study, so the CO2 is also part of the titration study?
Yeah.
That means then 4, right?
Yeah, two additional.
2 additional, yeah.
Yeah, at the other locations where there's TCO2.
Yeah.
Here there's only ETCO2. So. But
that new?
yes.
Well, I'm assuming we'll be able to run those now because of the new equipment, right?
So the we have ETCO2 here now?
Yeah, I saw one back there on the shelf.
So you
Well,
talking about the
we
low-
already
talking
had
about
one,
the
we
low
just
flow.
wasn't
That's
using
that's
it.
the Respironics thing. We don't
Oh,
we
y'all
don't-
don't support that. Oh,
We
okay,
don't
so we
have
can't
the low
use
flow.
that. Oh, okay.
We don't have the low flow now.
Oh, so yeah, no, we
But
don't.
John
Yeah.
said that it would work.
I've never done that.
Okay.
John is.
Oh, they're
saying that
easy.
that
They're-
it is
No, I
something we
said
are
I'm
having-
just saying
we
at this
have an
location.
active
Oh,
development
I've never
okay.
done one here.
for the low flow coming through the USB ports.
Oh,
So that is
okay.
yeah. But if you have a Centec, we
Right.
would add a Centec device into the rooms. Maybe if you go into the devices drop down menu, so this is what we did this morning.
Oh,
That we are
adding the
all
device.
components we can add into the if there's a device in the room, then it can be built into the montage. It can be locked in as a specific montage, or we can pick and choose like a la carte what we want.
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
for
okay.
this type of study. I have this extra device in my room. Do I activate it for this study, or do I leave it shaded? So
Radiometer, you have that?
So as it
Yeah.
stand right
Yeah.
now,
Yes.
EH8 still
No.
can't do low flows.
No,
Okay.
Have this in
So yeah, we're not doing them here. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So
sorry, Jay.
respironic is not supported. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
For the time being, we have the 2 montages.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll- we can work on, and we'll create the rest as we go through. So your information, your patient information would all be in here, and then you would go ahead and you would hit start recording. I'm assuming, do you record your hookups for your
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when patient-
Mm-hmm.
So, once you get your patient in the room, you give them the paperwork or whatever, you come out here, and then you would hit start recording at that point in time. So
So-
once you hit start recording, it's gonna go through and show you this device status screen. So this is those 4 components that we told it to expect in the room, and it's gonna go through and connect to each of those devices, excuse me. The wired devices, like the video camera and the C1 that's on the nightstand,
And the
those always come in
A1s.
first.
Okay.
And then your Bluetooth devices, like your A1 and your oximeter,
Mhm.
those will take a little longer to pair and then check off onto this screen. It can take up to 2 minutes, so sometimes people get a little panicky here at this screen when it doesn't connect right away. Just be a little patient and then it should pair and
Okay.
bond together. So once everything connects, that goes away. But in the bottom right-hand side of the screen over here where it says device status with a little check mark,
Mm-hmm.
if you click on that, it'll show you that information if you ever need that in the future.
Oh, okay.
On what side?
Down at the bottom right.
Okay.
So I do have a question right here.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily have to have a patient in the room yet to start this though, right?
No, you just have to have batteries.
Mm.
in
Okay.
your
As
device.
long as we got the lights and stuff working and we can come out here. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because I usually start my studies as soon as I get here.
which is fine, you can do that too.
So now if you check the status on the oximeter,
Yep, so now,
Mhm.
it might not be in range, but he took the batteries out of the device.
Oh, I see
Oh,
it.
okay.
Now you
Yeah.
get that kind of exclamation point, yield,
Gotcha.
upside down yield looking sign, telling you that it cannot connect to that
I'm sorry.
because it does not have.
Right. Gotcha.
The other
I'm
way
gonna-
that is
I'm gonna order them.
helpful is
We could always
We will
pick some
usually
up tomorrow. I
have-
can, someone could pick them up, I guess.
running pulse and SpO2 up at the top of
Oh, I
the
love
screen
those.
here.
Oh yes.
So if you're reading normally throughout the night and all of a sudden these go into dashes,
Mhm.
the question then becomes, did your probe come off
Right.
or did your device die?
Right.
So if you have numbers, no numbers here,
Mm-hmm.
but you're still got a check mark down here, that means your batteries are fine, but your patient must have messed with the probe. and turned it
Right.
off.
Okay.
If you lose both, that's most likely your device died.
Okay.
Or to put the batteries back in and
Okay.
connect again.
Mm.
Alright. A couple other navigational things on the screen. So your video will probably most likely be docked up here at the top of the recording when
Oh
you
my
start.
my.
You can, if you need to make it bigger or pull it out, if you click on the title video and drag it down,
Oh, okay.
it'll pop out, and then you can resize the image if you need to make it bigger
Oh,
or
the video
smaller.
looks so much better.
And then there's a magnifying glass in the corner over here, kind of small, but if you click on the magnifying glass, you can zoom in.
Oh,
And then
yes.
you can drag around in the image to see
Okay.
where you're zooming into on the
Ooh,
recording.
we got HD.
And then once you're kind of done looking at the video, if you don't want it overlapping with your other signals, you can drag it up towards the top and it'll put itself back in that dock.
Oh, I like
up
that.
at the top of the
Yeah.
screen.
So
It'll
now we don't have to
remember
do
how
that
big it
manually
is.
sizing.
So if you drag
Yeah.
it back down, it'll stay that bigger size. You can look at it real quick and then stick it
I
back
like
over the
that.
top, so it's not
Okay.
like-
You don't have to go hunt for it.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
Other things that I like having up in this top bar that we find to be helpful as you're running your study is this will give you your patient's current position and
Mhm.
it'll show you if there's any activity being detected at all.
Mm.
So like if they're moving around or rolling around, you'll see like a yellow bar in this activity meter.
Mm.
We also have a impedance view. So this is color coded. It's your head top down, and it's showing you your impedance values for your EG and your EOG. So it's not showing you the numbers, but it's basically a black dot means it thinks the signal is off. A red dot means it thinks the signal is bad. Yellow dot is fair, and a green dot is under 5 ohms. Kilo ohms. And it's a good impedance. Again, you can pull this out, you can make it bigger, and if you wanted to see the actual values, you can click on the little arrows over here, and it'll show you the actual numbers for each of those.
I like that too.
Double A and
I'm sorry?
Oh, you're fine.
Double A for A1, triple A for the oximeters. You need a new battery for every study with the A1. You can one double A.
Other things that a lot of people
You can
like
use
up
the
here,
triple A's
you can
for
have
several
Instagram
studies.
come up here to
There's a
see
battery indicator on the
where you
display of the
see
oximeter.
more in the night.
As soon as it goes from 3 to
So
2,
kind of things like
time to switch.
that.
But you can get three or four nights with the.
Maybe it'd be good to like change it on shift, like, so they come in for 3 nights, first night change it, the next person comes in.
Yes, you
Change it.
slide things
So
over.
my recommendation would be in the morning, just do away with the battery. Always leave the battery. So
Right, that was my next question. Yeah,
so
the
that
bottom
the
bar.
tablet's
Yeah,
nice
okay.
and
Sometimes
knows
people
to
like
grab.
the bottom bar,
Always
or
assume the
it's
battery that's in
called
the
a
device has
signal
been used.
overview.
Yeah. Good
Okay.
plan.
And so this says right click to add a signal. So I can add like my SPO2 trend for the night over here. So you can have
Okay.
information on
It's
top
3
and the bottom,
triple
or
A's.
you can just have stuff at the top or just the
2.
bottom.
So
just
1
kind
and
of
2.
depending on what.
One double A.
So if we want it at the bottom, we click at the bottom, right?
Yes, so up
Okay.
here at the top of the screen,
Uh-huh.
there's these 2 little buttons.
Oh,
that
gotcha,
have
okay.
Either a top bar or a bottom bar.
Oh,
selected.
okay, I see it now.
So you
Okay.
can add the top bar or add the bottom.
Add the bottom bar. Okay.
And once you've added things to them, you can hide that bar, look at your study in full screen, and then add that bar back, and it'll remember all the different
Oh,
things that you've
okay.
added in the bar.
Okay.
So now that I've added a top and a bottom bar, if we're looking at our signals here on the study, we can see that I have this slider, because I
Oh, wow.
can't see all of the channels in this small space that I've created. What we have is a button that's called Fit All up in the top left over here. What that'll do is it'll basically adjust all of the signals so that you don't have to scroll up and down to see all of the different channels
Nice.
that you've got selected.
Okay. Yeah. So now we're able to save like this as a personalized, customized montage, right? Okay.
So a couple of things we can look at, and then I'll show you how to save it.
Okay.
So you can fit all, you can adjust the sizing of things. If you right click on any of the channels, so right now, if you can see, E1 and E2 are kind of grouped together. Whereas if we look at like the flow or the ECG, they're just single signals. So if the signals are grouped, like so, I can right click, and if I apply a filter, it'll apply to both of those channels that are grouped together.
Okay.
If you just want to adjust one thing or another, you can right click and ungroup the signals, and now I have separate channels for E1 and E2.
Okay.
If I just want to adjust the settings of one and not the other.
Okay.
Is that the same with the EEG?
Same with the exact same with the EEG.
Okay.
So right now this is all grouped together. You see how it's one block. But if I ungroup it,
Then you can change the signal on one.
then it'll have separate things that you can adjust for each
Oh,
one.
gotcha.
Your right click menu on a channel will also show you your filters. So we have, under filters, we have preset filters for EEG, EOG, or EMG. These are straight out of the ASM manual, what they're supposed to be. If you need to tweak things from there, you can adjust your filter out above, filter out below. And if you don't see the number that you're looking for here, you can hit other, and you can type in whatever value
wow.
you want to put in for the filter.
Okay.
The other cool thing in filters, most of these will have your notch already added on it, your 60 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have this filter out ECG artifact.
Yes, Lord.
And so that's basically like your M plus or time your M's. So it'll reference it to M1, M2. You can do it the long way and you could re-reference the signals, or you could come in here and just apply this filter and it should take out most of that ECG.
Okay.
One thing I will say about this filter is you should only be using it when you need it. Don't turn it on and keep it on by default.
Right.
And especially when you're going through and saving your workspace, you don't want to save your workspace with that filter on it. Because sometimes when you go to start your study, it may look like all of your signals have disappeared. It's actually there, it's just kind of lagging behind and it's trying to do the math to filter everything out.
Right.
So if you ever run into that scenario, you could come in, turn off that filter, everything will catch right back up, and then you can apply that filter again.
Okay.
But as we go about talking about saving workspaces, make sure you don't save a workspace with that filter turned on. Just use it when you need it.
Right. Okay.
Alright, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to group my EEG back together. Once I group them, it takes out the filters out of the group. So I again have to come in, filter, and use my preset filter for EEG so that it'll apply that filter back to the group. And I can then adjust the position of any of these channels just by dragging and dropping. So if I want my chin up higher, if I want my eyes under, eyes below, you can kind of just drag and drop those wherever you'd like those signals.
Yeah, I like my eyes at the top.
Yeah, me too.
And then right clicking on a channel and properties,
Ordered them
this will be where you can adjust.
for. Is it pens?
If you go to
Oh.
signal,
No.
you can adjust the color
Yes.
of your channels
She
as
probably
well.
doesn't know.
Yes.
So this is my ECG. So I'm going to change it to red because I'm normal. And we're going to hit OK.
Yes.
And so right now I changed this signal to red, but it's still showing up as this dark blue color. The reason it's this blue color is because that's the channel I'm still selected on. If I click anywhere else on the screen, it'll turn red. But that blue color is showing you what channel you have selected.
Oh, that's your highlight.
That's
Okay.
your highlighted channel.
Okay.
So it'll look like when you first do it that it didn't work, it didn't change that color. If you just click somewhere else, you'll see that it did apply that red color to that channel. And the same will go for any of the other channels that you change the color of. Alright, if there are things, and in this view specifically, there are things that we want to add before we save this as our workspace. On the very right-hand side of the screen, this bottom flag is called Signals and Data. So you just have to hover your mouse over that, and that'll show you your entire list of the available channels.
Okay.
So in this view in particular, this is more like an MSLT type of view that's pulled up. So we would want to add, let's say, our abdomen belt, our thorax belt, our
Your legs.
thermistor, our snore channel, our SpO2. So everything that I add starts adding itself to the top of the screen. Now that I've added things, we have this scroll bar again. So to get rid of that, I'm going to come back, fit all, so that all the channels fit in my view. And then I can come over here and I can drag things where I'd want them to be.
Okay.
Jay, I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Well, first I think is an easy one, and you may have showed it and I missed it. If they want to see, like, they need to go back and score, but you want like your live trend window.
Can you put that at the bottom?
We can do a split screen, yes.
We can
Okay.
split the screen.
Oh, so we'll have a live screen, and then we'll have a look back.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And so the way to
So
do
like
that,
Sandman. Oh.
if that's how
Yeah.
you want to do it. So there's 2 ways to do that, to kind of approach scoring. So right now we've got our study scrolling. It's acquiring data. If I hit the space button, space bar, see how that red line goes away? This red line that's kind of tracking
yeah.
through and acquiring data.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that means I've paused the scroll. It's still going to continue to fill this epic, but it's not going to keep on jumping forward. And now I can use my left arrow key to go back in time
Okay.
and make any changes that I need to make.
Will it go back by epic? Or that?
Yes, it'll go back epic by epic.
Okay.
And
So is it a way to have both screens up at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is one way to do it. And then,
Okay.
okay, you see some movement or you hear some movement. You want to see if your patient pulled anything off.
Right.
Space bar jumps you back to live. You can check and make sure they didn't mess anything up, and then you can pause it and go back to doing what you were doing. If you want both views up at the same time,
Yeah, I think that would be.
Yeah.
so what you would do is right now we're working off of this PSG tab. I'm gonna come up to this tab that I'm working on. I'm gonna right click on it, and I'm going to clone this sheet.
Oh.
So that's gonna give me
okay.
2 PSG tabs up here at the top.
Oh,
I'm gonna
gotcha.
take one, drag it down, and drag it over to the side of the screen until it says drop to split.
Oh.
And that's gonna duplicate.
Okay.
So you can't do top and bottom.
Okay.
You can
top
do.
and bottom.
Okay.
So if you want, I'll show you this way and then I'll show you top and bottom as
Okay.
well. So right now we've got 2 screens. The key here is right now they're linked. There's this
Both of 'em are live,
tiny little
yeah.
chain icon up in the top corner.
Okay.
Very small.
If I break the chain by clicking on it, I can then have my 2 screens at different points in time.
Okay.
So I can come over here until my mouse becomes this little sideways and do something like this. So this could be my live running screen, and this over here can be my scoring, look back.
You look back.
everything
Okay.
else screen.
Yeah.
And you can still always see all of the current information on that right
And
hand
then,
side.
would you click the little chain button to put him back into
Yep,
go
if you
live
hit
time?
the chain again, it'll sync the 2 back again.
Okay.
Or if you leave it unchained, even if you're back over here, spacebar again will jump you right back into live.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
you can leave them unlinked, and then you can always go back, do what you're doing. But if you need a bigger screen to see what's going on, spacebar jump you back to live. And
Okay.
then any information that you put here,
It'll populate.
replicates
Oh,
onto
yeah.
that screen there.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're the same the same screen, just viewed twice. And so that's then 2 tabs together like this, where it shows you PSG, PSG. If you want to do something more like looking at your EEG in a certain amount of time, like 30 seconds, and you want to look at your respiratory in a different time frame, I can take that sheet and I can take to the bottom, and I can split up and down like
Oh,
this.
okay.
So you would do it that
Adjust the
same
size.
way with the PSG.
It just
chain.
You just dragging it in different locations.
Split, drop to split.
And then I can fit all, and my top screen here is 30 seconds. My bottom screen here I can make 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
Okay.
Whichever one you're clicked in, Jay, that's what changes it. So like if you're down at the bottom, you change.
Yes, so I'm clicked up in the top, I can adjust my
Okay.
window speed.
Okay.
If I click down in the bottom, my blue is down here at the bottom. This is then gonna adjust the bottom.
Got it.
Okay.
So, if both of them were, like the split PSG, you had before, how do you make it a live screen again versus the look back screen?
Yep, so if we're like this,
But I want it to be at the bottom.
oh, you want this?
Yes.
So we'll get rid of that bar. And we'll fit this and fit this. We might not have enough space to squeeze everything into this way. But
I mean, like
if
this
we-
one wouldn't have to be necessarily be as
Yeah, the bottom one will be more like for respiratory and SPO2.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, to mark your respiratory
So
events.
this one
Yeah.
will always be running live. This one, you've broken the chain already. So I
Mm-hmm.
can come
Oh, so
back,
just always break the chain, and that'll be your look back.
and that can be your look back.
Okay.
Jay, can you pull the respiratory down and do 3? Or can you only do 2?
I think you can only do 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Was worth asking.
I've never tried it before.
So once we got that split screen, are we able to customize the bottom one?
Yes.
Like if that's our scoring screen that we're gonna use, can we take off the EEG at the bottom and just use the channels for score? Okay.
So that the same thing as
Mhm.
where you were
Yeah.
looking at the time, it will apply to the signals and data as well.
Okay.
So if I clicked in the top screen and I go signals and data here
Mm-hmm.
and I turn off, let's say activity, it'll take it off of the top screen, but it'll leave it in the bottom screen.
Right. Okay.
So you have to be clicked in whichever one.
Mm-hmm.
And the faster way to remove things is you can just click on it, right click on it, and you can remove the signal.
Oh, okay.
But to add it, you have to come into this menu
Mm-hmm.
and find what you're trying to add. And then
Okay.
check it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna make it a bigger screen just so it's easier for people to see. One other thing that I wanted to show you, so let's look at SPO2 here. So I added it from the right hand side. It added it to the top of my screen. But whenever you add a channel, it comes in completely unfiltered and without any settings attached to it.
Mm.
So right now, this SPO2 channel is reading as a line.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda useless that way. So we wanna right click on it and we want to show the values,
Okay.
and that'll then put in the
Ah,
numbers for
gotcha.
that tracing.
Okay.
If you don't have your microscope handy and you wanna make those numbers bigger, right click, you can get into properties, and then in Signal, where we can adjust the color, we can also adjust that
The font size.
size,
Mm-hmm.
and we can make the numbers a little more legible.
Awesome.
That was directed directly
Okay.
at me.
That's just my line every time.
Uh-huh.
Other things that you can do in that properties screen. So I'm sure when Emily was talking about your 3 lead chin, your 1, your 2, and your F. So this 1, 2 is your chin channel by default, the outer 2 leads.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to keep looking at that and asking what is 1, 2, you can right click, go into properties, and in Signal, you can just
Rename
change
it.
the name
Yes.
of the channel to chin.
That works. Cause that'll be me looking at it like, what is this?
If I can spell. And then you can make it whatever color.
Mm-hmm.
Can we change the background from white to?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can also do that. So
Ooh, colorful.
So you can change all your colors of your signals. When you go and change your color with numbers, it only changes the line, it does not